Rain poured down hard that night. Under the old bridge, a young girl sat on cold concrete, holding her crying baby close. People walked past without looking. She was invisible to them. Her clothes were torn and dirty. Her face showed deep pain. She had been living here for weeks, maybe months. She couldn't remember anymore. The baby wouldn't stop crying. She had no milk, no food, no hope. Finally, she couldn't take it anymore. She stood up on shaking legs and called out loud, "Please. Someone help us." Her voice cracked with desperation. Most people hurried away faster. But then someone stopped. A man stared at her face for a long moment. Her heart filled with hope. But instead of helping, he turned pale and rushed away into the darkness. She felt confused and afraid. The girl couldn't forget that man's face. She had seen fear in his eyes. Why? The next morning, she wrapped her baby tight and followed the direction he had gone. She found him buying bread at a small shop. "Please," she said softly. "Do you know me?" He looked around nervously, then shook his head hard. "No. I don't know you. Leave me alone." But she saw something different in his eyes. Recognition. She stepped closer. "Then why did you run last night?" He grabbed his bread and started walking away fast. She followed him. Finally, he stopped in a dark corner and turned around. His voice was barely a whisper. "Stay away from me. They warned me about you." Before she could ask who they were, he disappeared into the crowd. That night, under the bridge again, the memory hit her like a punch. She was 15 again. She remembered the room, the voices, the feeling of being trapped. She had trusted someone back then. Someone important. Someone powerful. And they had used her. When she tried to tell people what happened, no one believed her. They said she was lying. They said she wanted attention. But worse than that, she remembered a voice clearly now. A cold voice that said, "No one will believe you. Don't even try." She had been young and scared, so she stayed silent. Then she found out she was pregnant. The people who should have protected her turned their backs instead. Now, holding her baby, she understood something terrible. She hadn't just been ignored. She had been deliberately silenced. Days passed in a blur of hunger and exhaustion. The baby needed milk. She needed food. But nobody gave her money anymore. She tried begging, but people looked through her like glass. By evening, she felt faint. Her baby's cries were getting weaker. That scared her more than anything. Then a woman stopped. She was older, with kind eyes. She bought them food and milk. The baby finally stopped crying. "Thank you," the girl whispered, tears running down her face. The woman studied her carefully. "You have an unusual face," she said slowly. "Good bone structure. Nice height. You don't belong here on these streets." The girl didn't understand. "What do you mean?" But the woman just smiled sadly and walked away, leaving her more confused than ever. That same afternoon, not far from the bridge, a photographer named Marcus was working. He had a client who wanted professional photos for her portfolio. They chose the area near the river because the light was perfect. Marcus focused his camera carefully, calling out directions. "Turn left. Smile more. Perfect." The shoot went smoothly. His client was happy. As they finished, the homeless girl walked past in the background, carrying her baby. She didn't notice them. They didn't notice her. Marcus packed his equipment, satisfied with his work. Later that evening, at home, he transferred the photos to his computer. He went through them one by one, editing and adjusting. Then he stopped. In one photo, behind his client, there was a figure. He zoomed in slowly. His eyes widened. "Who is she?" Marcus couldn't stop staring at the image. The girl in the background had somehow caught the light perfectly. Her posture, even while carrying a baby, showed natural grace. Her face, though tired and dirty, had striking features. High cheekbones. Large, expressive eyes. A strong jawline. She looked raw and real in a way his polished client didn't. He zoomed in more. Everything about her presence felt magnetic. It was the kind of face fashion magazines searched for. Authentic. Unique. Haunting. He sat back, amazed. His client looked good in the photo. But this unknown girl? She was extraordinary. "This is unreal," he whispered. He cropped the photo to focus on the girl, then posted it on his professional portfolio with a caption, "Beauty in Unexpected Places." He didn't expect what would happen next. By morning, Marcus's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. The photo had gone viral overnight. People were sharing it everywhere. Comments poured in. "Who is she? Find this girl. She should be modeling." Fashion blogs picked it up. News sites wrote articles. The image spread across the internet like wildfire. Marcus was shocked. Then his phone rang. It was Vivian Chen from Elite Models Agency. "Marcus, that photo. The girl in the background. We need to find her immediately." Her voice was urgent. "I don't know who she is," Marcus admitted. "I was photographing someone else. She just walked past." There was a pause. "Then you need to go back and find her. Today. This girl could be a sensation. Don't let this opportunity slip away." The line went dead. Marcus grabbed his jacket. He had to return to the bridge. Marcus drove back to the riverside, his heart pounding. He parked and walked toward the bridge where he had taken the photo. The modeling agency's demand echoed in his mind. They wanted this girl. But he had no idea who she was or how to find her. What if she was just passing through? What if she never came back? He walked under the bridge, looking around carefully. At first, he saw nothing. Just empty space and trash. Then he heard it. A baby's soft cry. He turned a corner and froze. There she was. The girl from the photo. She sat against the wall, trying to comfort her crying child. Her situation was worse than he imagined. She was homeless. Living here. He took a deep breath and started walking toward her slowly. This was his chance. But he had to be careful. She looked fragile, like she might break or run at any moment. The girl saw him approaching. Her body went stiff. Marcus tried to smile gently. "Hi. I don't mean any harm. I just want to talk." She clutched her baby tighter. "What do you want?" Her voice was defensive, scared. "I'm a photographer. A few days ago I was working near here and I don't have money," she interrupted. "Please just leave us alone." "No, wait," Marcus said quickly. "You don't understand. You were in one of my photos. People all over the internet are talking about you." Her face changed. Confusion. Then anger. "You took my picture without asking? Are you making fun of me?" She stood up fast, turned, and started walking away. "No. Please wait," Marcus called out. But she didn't stop. She disappeared around a corner with her baby. Marcus stood there, frustrated. This was harder than he thought. He would have to try again. Marcus came back the next day. And the day after that. Each time, the girl saw him and moved away. On the fourth day, he brought food. Real food. Fresh bread, milk, fruit. He set it down at a distance and stepped back. "I'm not trying to hurt you," he called out. "I just want to explain. Please." She stared at the food. Her baby cried softly. She was clearly starving. Finally, hunger won. She came closer but stayed cautious. "Why do you keep coming here?" she asked. "Because I need to show you something important," Marcus said. He slowly pulled out his phone. "May I?" She nodded slightly. He showed her the photo. At first, she didn't understand what she was looking at. Then she recognized herself in the background. She saw how the light hit her face. How she looked. Different. Not broken. Beautiful. Her hand went to her mouth. She couldn't stop staring at the image. This couldn't be her. The person in the photo looked strong, graceful, almost glowing. But she felt weak, dirty, invisible. "That's really me," she whispered. Marcus nodded. "That's you. Exactly as you are. And it's beautiful." For the first time in years, she saw herself through different eyes. Not as a victim. Not as trash on the street. As a person with value. Tears filled her eyes. She quickly wiped them away. "Why are you showing me this?" she asked, her voice shaking. "Because a modeling agency saw this photo. They want to meet you. They think you could have a real future." She laughed bitterly. "Look at me. I'm homeless with a baby. Who would want me?" But even as she said it, something stirred inside her. A tiny spark of hope. "What do you want from me?" she asked carefully. Marcus explained everything. The viral photo. The agency's interest. The opportunity to change her life. She listened, but her face showed doubt. "This sounds like a trap," she said quietly. "I've heard nice words before. They led to bad things." Marcus understood. Of course she didn't trust him. Why would she? "I know you have no reason to believe me," he said. "But I'm asking you to take a chance. Come meet the agency. If you don't like what you see, you can walk away. No pressure." She looked down at her baby, sleeping peacefully now after eating. What kind of life could she give this child here on the streets? But what if this man was lying? What if this was another trap like before? "I need time to think," she finally said. Marcus nodded. "You have until tomorrow. I'll be here at noon. The choice is yours." He walked away, leaving her alone with the hardest decision of her life. The next day, she made her choice. When Marcus arrived at noon, she was waiting. She had washed her face in the river and tried to clean her clothes. Her baby was wrapped carefully. "I'll go," she said. "But if anything feels wrong, I'm leaving." Marcus smiled with relief. "That's fair. Let's go." They walked to his car. She had never been in a car before. Everything felt strange and overwhelming. During the drive, she stayed silent, holding her baby tight. When they reached the tall building downtown, her heart pounded. They took an elevator up. It made her dizzy. Finally, the doors opened to a bright, modern office. People in expensive clothes walked past. Some turned to stare at her. She heard whispers. "Is that her? The girl from the photo?" Their eyes were wide with shock. She felt small and out of place. Marcus gently guided her forward. "It's okay," he whispered. "Just breathe." A woman approached quickly. It was Vivian Chen, the agency director. "You found her." Vivian circled around the girl, studying her carefully. "Remarkable. Absolutely remarkable." She clapped her hands. "Get her cleaned up. Hair, makeup, proper clothes. I want to see her full potential." They led her to a private room. Women worked on her gently, washing her hair, cleaning her face, dressing her in simple but elegant clothes. She watched herself transform in the mirror. It felt like watching a stranger. When they finished, even she couldn't believe it. The tired, dirty girl was gone. In her place stood someone else. Someone beautiful. They brought her back to Vivian. The entire room went silent. People stared. Someone whispered, "She could be huge." Vivian smiled slowly. "Welcome to your new life." But the girl noticed something. One man in the corner looked disturbed instead of impressed. His face had gone pale. The agency wanted to test her immediately. They set up lights and a camera in the studio. "Just walk toward me naturally," the photographer instructed. "Don't try too hard. Be yourself." She felt terrified. She had never done anything like this. But she thought about her baby waiting in the next room. She thought about the bridge. About never going back there. She took a breath and started walking. Something happened. The room's energy shifted. She moved with natural grace, her head held high. The camera clicked rapidly. Yes. Exactly like that, the photographer called out. She kept walking, getting braver with each step. When she stopped, the room erupted in applause. Vivian was grinning. She's a natural. But the girl noticed the same man from earlier. He stood in the back, watching her. His face showed something like fear. She recognized that look. Where had she seen him before? Then it hit her. Her blood ran cold. She knew him. She couldn't remember from where exactly, but his face triggered something deep inside her. Old fear. Old pain. After the audition ended, she watched him carefully. He noticed her staring and quickly looked away. He whispered something to another person and left the room fast. Too fast. Her hands began to shake. Marcus noticed. "Are you okay?" he asked. "That man," she said quietly. "Who is he?" "That's Richard Fallon. He's one of the agency's top judges." "Why?" She didn't answer. She couldn't explain. But somewhere in her broken memories, his face existed. He was connected to her past. To what happened when she was 15. She was sure of it. That night, lying in the small apartment the agency provided temporarily, she couldn't sleep. She kept seeing his face. Kept feeling that old fear. Why was he here? Was it coincidence? Or was something darker happening? Despite her fears, her modeling career began. Her first real job was for a clothing brand's advertisement. She was nervous, but she remembered what they taught her. Walk with confidence. Let the camera see your strength. The shoot went perfectly. At the end of the day, they handed her an envelope. Inside was more money than she had seen in her entire life. Real money. Enough to rent a proper apartment. Enough to buy food for weeks. Enough to care for her baby. She cried when she held it. Her life was actually changing. But that evening, when she checked social media, she saw the comments. People were sharing her story. Homeless girl becomes model overnight. The attention was growing. Fast. Too fast. Some comments were kind. Others were cruel. And some were digging. Asking questions. Who is she really? What's her background? Why was she homeless? Someone posted, "I know the truth about her pregnancy." Her heart stopped. The rumors spread like poison. People online claimed to know her past. Some said she was a drug addict. Others said she abandoned her family. One account kept posting, "She got pregnant on purpose to trap someone rich. It didn't work, so she played victim." None of it was true. But lies spread faster than truth. Her phone filled with cruel messages. The agency called an emergency meeting. Vivian looked serious. "We need to address this before it destroys your career. Do you want to tell your real story?" The girl felt torn. Her past was painful and private. But staying silent meant letting lies win. "I'll tell the truth," she said firmly. They arranged a live interview. She sat in front of cameras and millions of viewers. Her voice shook, but she spoke clearly. "I was 15 when someone I trusted took advantage of me. I was left alone, pregnant, with nowhere to go. I survived the only way I could." The truth silenced many critics. But it made others angry. Especially one person watching from the shadows. Richard Fallon. After the interview, she felt lighter. She had spoken her truth. Most people believed her. The hateful accounts went quiet. But Richard didn't. She saw him at the agency the next day, watching her again. This time, she walked straight toward him. "Why do you keep staring at me?" she asked directly. He looked nervous. "I don't know what you mean." "Yes, you do. You've been watching me since I arrived. You look afraid." "Why?" He stepped back. You're imagining things. But she saw sweat on his forehead. She saw his hands shaking. I know you from somewhere, she pressed. Where do I know you from? His face went pale. He turned and walked away quickly without answering. But he made a mistake. He dropped something. A business card. She picked it up. It had his name and an old address. An address that made her freeze. She knew that place. It was connected to the worst day of her life. The day everything changed. That night she couldn't rest. She researched Richard Fallon online. His career. His connections. His history. Then she found it. A photo from 8 years ago. A charity event. He was standing in the background with other people. Important people. Rich people. And one of them, she recognized. Her breath caught in her throat. That person had been at the place where she was hurt. She remembered now. Not clearly, but enough. Richard had been there too. He wasn't the one who hurt her directly. But he was there. He saw what happened. He did nothing. Maybe he even helped cover it up. She printed the photo and stared at it for hours. Her hands shook with anger and old pain. The next day, she went to the agency early. She found Richard in his office alone. She locked the door behind her. We need to talk, she said. About what happened 8 years ago. His face crumbled. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. She showed him the photo. He stared at it, then at her. His voice came out like a gasp. Please. I didn't do anything. I was just there. I was told to stay quiet. She stood firm. Who told you to stay quiet? Richard's hands shook. I can't. They'll destroy me. They already destroyed me. I was 15. Her voice cracked. Tell me who. He looked at the door like he wanted to run. But she blocked his way. Finally, he broke. It wasn't my idea. I was young, working my first big job. They said if I talked, my career would end before it started. I was scared. Who is they? She demanded. Richard's voice dropped to a whisper. There were several people. Important people. They made sure no one would believe you. They paid people off. Threatened others. It was organized. Her blood ran cold. One person couldn't do all that. No, Richard admitted. It was planned. Someone powerful wanted to protect someone else. They made you disappear from the story completely. Who? She asked again. Richard looked into her eyes. You don't know who really planned it. And trust me, you don't want to know. They're still powerful. They could still hurt you. She refused to stop. Over the next few days, she dug deeper. She talked to old contacts. People who worked at that charity event 8 years ago. Most were too scared to talk. But one person, a former assistant, finally broke. There was a network, the woman said quietly over coffee. Rich people protecting each other's secrets. When something bad happened, they covered it up. Your case wasn't the only one. Who led it? I don't know all the names. But I know they're still connected. Some are in business. Some in media. Some in entertainment. The woman leaned closer. One name kept coming up back then. Someone in the fashion industry. Someone with power to make people disappear or make them famous. Be careful. The girl's mind raced. Fashion industry. Power to make people famous. A terrible thought crept into her mind. She pulled out her phone and searched. Then she found it. An old article. A connection she hadn't seen before. A name she knew. Her hands started shaking. No. It couldn't be. She found the link. Vivian Chen, her agency director, had been a junior manager at the same company that sponsored that charity event 8 years ago. The same event where she had been hurt. Vivian had been there. The girl went through more articles, more photos. Then she found something that made her sick. A photo from that night. In the background, barely visible, was a younger Vivian. Standing near the people who hurt her. Near Richard. Near all of them. It couldn't be coincidence. She thought back to how quickly Vivian had responded to her photo. How urgently she wanted to find her. How she had been brought in, transformed, and launched so fast. Was it guilt? Or was it something else? The girl's mind spun. What if her rescue wasn't random at all? What if finding her, making her famous, was a way to control her? To keep her close? To make sure she stayed quiet? The person who helped save her might be connected to the people who destroyed her. She couldn't eat or sleep. The truth was too heavy. She went back through everything. Marcus finding her wasn't planned. That was real. But the photo going viral so fast? The agency's immediate interest? Vivian's personal involvement? It felt too perfect. Too controlled. She confronted Vivian in her office. You were there 8 years ago. At that charity event. Vivian's face didn't change. I worked many events back then. Don't lie. I saw the photos. You knew what happened to me. Vivian was quiet for a long moment. Then she sighed. Yes. I knew. I was young and scared. I didn't participate, but I stayed silent. I've regretted it every day since. So you found me out of guilt? Partly, Vivian admitted. But also because I saw a chance to help you. To give you the life you deserved. Or to control me, the girl said. To make sure I never told the real story. Vivian looked hurt. Is that what you think? The girl didn't know what to think anymore. Her whole rise felt manipulated now. Everything she had gained could be taken away. She had to choose, expose everything and risk losing her new life, or stay silent and protect her future. But staying silent meant becoming them. She made her decision. She called a press conference. Everyone came, media, bloggers, the agency, even Richard. Vivian sat in the front row, her face unreadable. The girl stood at the microphone, her baby in her arms. My name is Maya. 8 years ago, I was hurt by powerful people who thought they could silence me. They were right for a long time. I was too young, too scared, too broken. But I'm not that girl anymore. She named no names. But she told her truth. The cover-up. The silence. The network that protected abusers. How even her rescue might have been controlled. I don't know who to trust anymore, she said honestly. But I know this. I won't be silent again. Not for money. Not for fame. Not for anyone. The room was silent. Then someone started clapping. Then another. Soon the whole room stood, applauding. Some people looked angry. Some looked scared. Vivian had tears running down her face. Maya walked off the stage. She didn't know what would happen next. But for the first time, she wasn't afraid. The world that once ignored her was finally listening. And some of them feared what else she might say. She had her voice back. And that was the most powerful thing of all.